Welcome into the Buffa's Buffet podcast. Today's topic is going to be kind of a personal one. The boy wonder, Vincent Buffa, 14 going on 15 very rapidly, is going to be graduating from middle school here in about a week. Less than a week, 6 days. And any parent, I have people that I know whose kids are graduating high school, so I know that's a bigger change. Vinny hasn't been set free yet from the rigors of required schooling, but he's getting there. So he graduates from middle school, he's going into high school, and me, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about that is, my goodness, what happened to that little 5 or 6 year old kid that I took into his first day of pre-K, and this is at Mann Elementary down in Tower Grove. And you take them into the little gym, and then they all lined up in their little classes. And he, that's back when I scalped the kid. I buzzed his head before he got his mom's hair and was able to grow actual hair. I gave him the buzz. So he was sitting there, his legs crossed Indian style, kind of waiting for things to begin. And he had his little backpack. And the backstory of that was, I think back in 2016, about 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, is that we had been living in Arkansas and we came back from that. I was a stay-at-home dad for a while, for a few years at least of Vinny's early life. So going from being with him all day to basically having to let him set him off in like a little pre-K boat and push it off into the water and be like, he's gonna be okay, he's gonna be okay. But I remember the little things you remember when you're a parent is just those little looks. As I was letting him go and he was in his little line, his classmates, I kind of walked away and I looked at him kind of sitting there, and he was kind of looking around. He was kind of looking around for me and his mom, and he was just kind of like, what's going on, where's dad, what are we gonna do today? Because when my ex-wife Rachel got a manager job with the tile shop, you had to be mobile. And so we moved from St. Louis to Little Rock, North Little Rock, where there's nothing to do. It is just, Maumelle is like a place where they put gangsters in witness protection. So she worked all the time and I had the kid all the time, and that's where the writing kind of took off. Kind of went from just kind of a semi-hobby to let's try to tackle this and really try to make a career out of it. That didn't really go completely as I planned, just trying to find money. But so it was me and him, and when you're trying to entertain a 4 or 5, 6 year old, man, it's a job. And so it was every day trying to, take him here, take him to the park. Let's run around the apartment complex. Let's go on an adventure. If you've seen my logo on websites where I have the fist pump, that is where the fist pump picture came into play. When you're embarrassingly singing Katy Perry, just to make your kid laugh, and you snap a photo and it turns out to be your logo. Those are the kind of things that can happen when you're trying to entertain a kid. But then, we got back to St. Louis, and, I found a little more work, and he kind of went to school, and it was just like, and then the next 10 years just, whew, flew on. And now today, or this next week, he's graduating from middle school. So time does fly. If you got little ones, if you got little kids and they're 4, 5, 6, 7, they're not double digits yet. They haven't turned 10. Man, you're not going to be able to put a lasso on time. It's just going to run from you. I post every once in a while when I get, Facebook will just shove all these memories into the 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and 10, 12, I get to see these little Vinny pics. And so every once in a while I'll post a picture of him, even if it's just the backside, him walking out of my parking lot, and a young picture, and I go, man, time is a thief, because it is. Every night time comes in and just kind of comes in and runs away. And then the next day we're a little bit older, and everybody around us is a little bit older. Everything's kind of advanced. And so I don't know, man, when things are a little different in your personal life, these kind of things kind of hit a little differently. Because, you know, when you're in the boat alone and you're kind of looking around, you're like, you know, a lot of crap like that, even sad, bittersweet stuff like your kid moving on to high school, can just hit a little differently. It just kind of smacks you across the head, even though you knew it was coming. And his mom, you know, his mom's gonna feel it too. Rachel's gonna feel a little bit of pain, because that's her baby boy. You know, he's moving on to high school, and then, you know, move on to college. If he goes to college, if he goes to this, he goes to trade school, gets a job, and then he's gonna have a beard, and everything's just gonna advance. It's just time, just going. So, but that's what I think about. I think about that little bitty midget Vinny sitting in that line in that gymnasium, kind of looking around going, where's Dad? You know, Dad's always around. He's always been around for the past few years. Dad, I stubbed my toe. Dad, I banged my head. Dad, I spilled something. Dad, I thought this was ranch and it was glue. Dad, I swallowed a quarter. I don't know if I'm going to crap out 2 dimes and a nickel. Like, oh, there's only one way to find out. Oh, man. But now he's 14 and he acts like he's 17, which means when he's 17, he'll act like he's 20. And then when he's 20, he'll basically be an arguing lawyer by that point. So, I don't know. A little bittersweet. A little personal pod today. We're hitting the 7-minute mark. For a while, I was recording a pod for a special somebody. So these days, I kind of get out here and I'm like, I kind of want to record a pod. But if I got something to really dig into, like yesterday, I will admit that I just went to the plate and took a few swings and talked about Hemsworth movies coming or going, and then talked about Cardinals sports fans' reaction. It was just like, it's just kind of, sometimes you just want to put out content just to give your readers something, or to give somebody, you know, something to watch. And so today I thought I'd come in and talk about Vinny, and Vinny getting a little older, and that means we're getting older. And everything gets a little harder. The adulting blues tax a little more every year. But when you have a kid, and you got your kids, or you at least have a kid, in this case, you know, animals don't really count. I mean, they count. But it's like when you got a human kid, they really kind of, they chart your time. Like, you look at them and you go, man, you used to come down the stairs and maybe trip down half of them. Now he's just rumbling down the steps, or he's moving. Like when we go across the street from my apartment to 7-Eleven, and he is just powering ahead of me. He's already walking like his great-grandmother. My little Lebanese grandmother Maymay could walk a mile, I think, not run, could walk a mile in about 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, it was just, if you put her on the track with a bunch of kids, she'd probably just, I mean, so he walks like that now. That's how I walk. I walk like I'm chasing coffee. But he's getting old, and I'm getting old with him. But this is only a chapter. One chapter ends, another one begins. I just hope he gets good grades, stays out of trouble, remains a gentleman, doesn't say fuck so much, because he's starting to say it. And I'm like, I'm doing the old thing where you got to tell him as a dad, like, look, I'm not going to try to police you saying it, because that would just be too much work. But I'm going to tell you, sparsel them out, you know, spread them out. Really put a lot of feeling into that. This fucking day, or, you know, you can't overdo the F-bomb, or even the people that don't mind it will be like, yeah, it's a, you're slinging that word around like it's a cup of water. So those little things are going to come into play. But man, being a dad is great and terrifying all at once. So that's all I got today, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tolerating. I am a lot, and I know it. I only deny it a couple days a week. The other 5, I kind of go, yeah, I'm a lot. But I appreciate you coming in and watching this personal pod via the Buffa's Buffet podcast on Substack. Have a good one.